Hi, I'm Paula from Happy Yoga Wales, and this is a Yin to Vin yoga practice that's perfect for the mornings. This practice is suitable for absolutely everybody. You don't need any props, but I always recommend having a cushion or a blanket nearby, and I'll let you know where you might be able to use those in our practice. Today I'm filming from this absolutely stunning place. I'm in an Orenda Luxe holiday apartment in Llandudno. So if you're looking to come and stay in North Wales, then definitely check them out. I'll pop them in the description below. I might just stay the night here, it's so lovely. So we're going to get started today in a child's pose variation. So we'll start holding our poses for about 2 minutes. So really getting into the connective tissues, and then towards the end of our practice, moving into some gentle flowing movements, but staying really close to the ground today. So bring the big toes to touch, sink the hips back, and walking the hands forwards, we're going to come into a thread the needle variation. So find length through the spine first, and then take your left hand and thread it underneath the right with the palm facing up towards the sky. Reach as far as you can with that hand comfortably. Now this is where, if your head doesn't reach the floor, a cushion or a block would be handy underneath the side of the head here. So resting the head down wherever it reaches comfortably, and just drawing that left shoulder away from the ear, sinking down into the support of the ground. So in our yin practice, we don't want to force or push. We're only ever going to the first comfortable edge of our stretch, and then staying in that place in stillness for at least 2 minutes, if we can, a little bit longer. Because this is a short morning practice, we'll just be in each pose for about 2 minutes today. Just feeling the breath in the belly here. If you can, breathe in and out of the nose. Relaxing the muscles in the face, the jaw, the neck, and the shoulders. And just taking a few more breaths here. And then on your next inhale, fill all the way up. Let the belly, the low back expand. Pause at the top, and then gently sigh out with a smile. Let's do that again. A big breath in. And an exhale out. So then to come out of our pose, just slide that right hand down a little bit, and using it for support, lift the torso just an inch or two, enough to slide the left hand out, and then reach that arm out long. You might feel some sensations there. That's perfectly normal, as long as there's no pain. And then just taking a moment in our child's pose before we go to the other side. So noticing sensations of heat in that arm, maybe even in the hips at this point. And of course, if this becomes too intense, change in position. You could even pop a cushion underneath the hips here to raise them a little bit higher. So doing that if you need to before we go to the other side. And then when you're ready, taking the right arm, sliding it underneath. So just lifting the hips a little bit to get into position, reaching that arm as far away as is comfortable with the palm facing the ceiling, and then let the shoulder come down away from the ear. Resting the side of the head down so the neck is nice and long. And softening into the pose. So we'll be working through some twists today. We're really focusing on the upper body, this area where we hold a lot of tension when we're a little bit stressed, a little bit anxious. If you find the mind starts to wander here, first acknowledge that that is completely normal. And then just gently bring those thoughts back, that attention back to the body. Any physical sensations, and to the sensation of the breath. Feeling the breath wherever is most obvious to you. And it doesn't matter how many times you get distracted by thoughts. The practice is to keep noticing and just gently bringing yourself back. Taking our last few breaths here. And when you're ready, take a big breath in. And exhale, sigh out. One more big breath, fill all the way up. And let it go. Sliding the left hand down towards the face, pressing into the left palm, and then just releasing that right arm out. Ooh, feels good to me, hope it does to you too. Walking the hands forwards one more time in our child's pose. If the hips need a little rest, you could just lift the hips up here and pause in a tabletop position instead. Again, noticing all those pulsing sensations, the heat in the hips. Okay, so moving into our next yin pose, we're going to come down onto our bellies and coming into a floor scorpion. So, stretching the left arm out long away from you. It's about in line with the shoulder here. And then using the right fingertips underneath the shoulder as a bit of support here. So we're going to press into the right hand and just roll. So I like to pick my chest up and just roll to gaze towards the right. And this might not be a big movement, so you might just stay here. You might want to bend the knees for a little bit more support here. Or you might find that picking up the right leg and just popping those right toes behind you feels comfortable. So just exploring the movement here. Big twist through the spine as well as stretching through the front of the shoulder and into the chest. Always finding space, noticing whether we're creating tension in the body or if we're creating space. And if we are creating tension, what can we do to just change that? Maybe just adjusting slightly, coming out of the pose a little bit. And then really softening here. And remembering that you can change position if anything becomes a little bit too uncomfortable. Just shift in position for our last few breaths here. Or maybe your body starts to open up and you want to take it a little bit deeper. We're always moving mindfully. And then when you're ready, taking a big breath in and sigh out. One more big inhale and exhale. So if the foot is behind, stacking the knees first, releasing that stretch from the hips, and then using your right hand to support, just bringing that in front of the face, straightening through the legs and rolling onto the belly. And just take a moment here, stack the hands one on top of the other, making a little pillow. You could rest your forehead down or maybe just resting the side of the head, keeping the neck nice and long. And just taking a moment before we go to the other side. And then when you're ready, stretching your right arm out long, reaching through those fingertips, bringing the left hand underneath the left shoulder, and again, just picking up yourself here. It doesn't need to be a big movement, rolling the shoulder down, shoulder blade down the back, and then just resting the head down. Again, you could always put a blanket or a cushion underneath the ear here, and then rolling maybe onto the hips, stacking the legs or taking that top leg behind, just finding what feels right for you today. And working with each side of the body independently, just acknowledging that one side could be completely different to the other. And notice here whether you're tensing through the jaw, the forehead. Relax in there. And then coming into our last few breaths here. On your next inhale, fill all the way up. Big inhale. And a soft exhale through the mouth. One more big breath in. And release. Again, coming out of this nice and slowly. So stacking the legs first, one on top of the other. And then straightening the legs, bringing the left hand just in front of the face, using the support of that hand to roll yourself back onto your front. And then making that little pillow one more time. If you took the cheek to the hands, then turn in the opposite cheek this time. Or alternatively, just resting the forehead down. And then just pressing into the feet, into the pelvis, bring the hands under the shoulders, press your way up through a tabletop position. And then coming down into a seat. So you could sit on a block here if that's more comfortable, or just sitting on the floor like I am today. So wherever you are, make sure you can feel the sit bones here. So you might need to just pick the hips up, tilt the pelvis forwards, and sitting in a cross-legged position, or if that isn't comfortable, you could find any other variation of the legs that work for you. Sit nice and tall, reach through the crown of the head, roll the shoulders back. Take a breath here. So we're going to start to move a little bit more quickly, but staying nice and low, keeping this sense of ease that we've developed. So bringing the fingertips out to the side, we're going to inhale, sweep the arms up, tickling the plant as we go. And then exhale, float the left hand down, reach through the fingertips, maybe gazing up towards that top hand. On the next breath in, draw the belly button in, coming up towards center. And then exhale over to the other side, reaching those fingertips up. So really thinking about creating length out of the waist. So when we twist, we create so much space through the spine, through the torso. So taking advantage of that here. Gazing up only if that feels good. And then on your next inhale, draw the belly button in as you come back through center. And then twisting this time, so we're going to bring the right hand towards the left knee, reaching tall, using that hand behind you as a little kickstand. And one more inhale here, lengthening through the spine. And then maybe exhaling, twisting a little bit more, gazing over that back shoulder if that feels okay. Inhale, reach both arms up to center. Keep all the length as we come over to the other side. Softening that back shoulder down. Feel the shoulder blade go down the back. Gazing over the shoulder if that feels good. And then inhale, reach the hands up to the sky. A little bit taller. And exhale, bring the hands down to the heart. Okay, coming on to all fours now. Stacking the wrists underneath the shoulders, knees under the hips. Spread the fingers nice and wide, index fingers facing forward. And moving through a few little cat-cows here. So you're going to inhale, belly down. Exhale, draw the belly button in, gazing back towards the thighs. And again, inhale, belly down, chest forwards. Squeezing the shoulder blades together. Exhale, squeezing the glutes, lifting, separating shoulder blades. And then pausing in a neutral position. Coming into this thread the needle position again. We're going to take the left hand up, reach for the sky, and inhale here. And then exhale, thread the left hand behind the wrist. We're not going to stay here though, we're going to move with the breath. So inhale, reaching up. And exhale, twisting, threading that hand behind the right. One more, inhale up. And exhale, twist. And then coming back to center, placing that hand back down. Let's do the same thing on the other side. So inhale, sweeping the right arm up. You can gaze up or down. And then exhale, thread the right hand behind the left. Inhaling up. Really focusing on this movement through the upper back. Exhale, reach. Last one, inhaling up. And exhale, thread it through. coming back to center. Bring the hands back underneath the wrists. And then from here, we're going to take the left arm forwards, keep the low belly drawn in so the spine's nice and long here. And then if it feels okay, take the right foot back. You can keep the toes on the ground if you want a little bit of extra support here. Making sure this wrist, the right wrist, is underneath the right shoulder. If you want a little bit more, keep drawing the low belly in as you pick up the right foot. Inhale, extend here through the fingertips, through the heel, and then exhale, bring the knee towards the elbow. Squeeze it up. Inhale, reach. And exhale, squeeze. One more. Inhale, reach. And exhale, squeeze. And then bring the hand back down, bring the knees back down. Give the hips a little wiggle here. So just circling round. And then changing direction. Building a little bit of heat. Generating some energy. And then we'll do that on the other side. So extending the right arm forward, pinky finger faces down. Taking the left leg back, you can keep the toes on the ground. Totally nice place to stay here. Extending back through the heel, forwards through the fingers. Feel that long line of energy. If you want a little bit more, drawing the low belly in, picking up the foot. Take a breath in here. And then exhale, knee towards the elbow. Inhale, extend. Knee to elbow, exhale. Inhale, extend. Last one. Knee to elbow. And extend it out. Float the right hand down, bring the knees back down, and then take the knees out a little bit wider. Sink the heels back, hips back to the heels, and reach the hands forward for a child's pose. Just take in 2 or 3 breaths here before we continue with our flow. So finding that grounded breath, that calmness that we had in our yin practice. Seeing if we can keep that with us, that sense of ease, as we move through this next little flowing stage of this morning's practice. So inhale and lift in the hips. And then exhale, tuck the toes, press firmly into the hands, lift the hips, finding your downward facing dog. So really thinking about length through the arms here, bend the knees as much as you want to, lift those hips up nice and high. Taking one more breath here. And exhale, pressing the chest back towards the thighs. And then inhale, pick up your left foot, squeeze that knee towards the nose, and then step the foot in between the hands. So you can adjust your feet however you need to here. Bringing the back knee down. And then from here, we're just going to take an easy twist. So pressing firmly into that front heel, making sure your front knee is directly over the ankle. Your right hand can be on the floor or on a block. And we're going to turn the chest towards the left. You can stay here. Or maybe take the left arm up towards the sky. It's a big stretch for the hips. Nice twist for the spine. And then exhale, float that hand back down. From here, we're just going to send the hips back and find a little half splits pose. Bring the toes up towards the ceiling. And again, you can stay here, or if you want another twist, we can go from this position here. So right hand comes to the floor or a block. Think about dragging that heel back to you so you're nice and stable, lengthen through the spine, and then turning the chest towards the left. Relaxing the shoulders away from the ears, maybe straightening through that top arm. It's totally normal to be a little bit wobbly here. On your next exhale, float the hands down, crawl your way forwards, finding that lunge one more time. And then just framing out the front foot, pick up the back knee and step back to our downward dog. Now if you're feeling like you want a little bit of energy, a little bit of strength, you could take a vinyasa from here. Otherwise, staying in your down dog or your child's pose. So flowing forwards into plank, lowering either with knees up or down. Keep the elbows close to the body as you lower. And then inhale and tucking the toes, squeezing the shoulder blades together into cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. If you're in your child's pose, coming back into our down dog, getting ready to take that little flow on the other side. So inhale, picking up the right foot any amount. Exhale, squeeze the knee towards the nose, step the foot in between the hands. And then adjusting your stance here, finding your low lunge. Find a little bit of movement first. Broadening through the collarbones. And then planting your left hand either on the floor or a block. You could come up to the fingertips and then bring the right hand to the chest, turning yourself towards the right. So you can stay here, you can keep your hand on the thigh, or if it feels okay, taking that arm up towards the ceiling. You could even pick up the back knee here for a little bit more of a strength challenge. And then exhale, float that hand back down. Send the hips back, keep the hands close to the ground as you walk your way back, stacking the hips above that back knee. And then find your half splits pose here. Bring the toes up towards the sky. Softening through the jaw, the shoulders. Keeping the breath deep and even. And then keeping your left hand on the floor. If you want that twist here, bring the hand to the heart, and then turn the chest towards the right. Again, let that shoulder come down. Make sure it's not hunching up to the ear. Maybe taking the top arm up to the sky, gazing up or down, whatever feels best for you. Really targeting all areas of the body this morning in this short practice. And exhale, float that hand back down, framing out the foot, picking up your back toes, and then coming back to our downward dog. Maybe flowing through a vinyasa or just coming down to a child's pose. If you're with me, inhaling forwards, lowering, keep the body nice and strong, one straight line. And then inhale, cobra. And exhale, we're going to make our way to a seat. So if you remember which leg you had in front before, just bringing the opposite leg in front. Sitting nice and tall. We're going to end in the seated position today. So just rolling the shoulders back here. Reach tall through the crown of the head. And bringing the hands to heart center, maybe feeling the heartbeat behind the thumbs. Taking a moment, feel free to close the eyes. And just notice how you feel. And remembering that it doesn't really matter what we do on our yoga mat. The important thing is that we keep showing up, keep giving ourselves this time. Time and space to just be. Let's take a big breath in all together. And exhale, sigh out with a smile. Well, thank you so much for practicing with me. If this is your first time here, I would love to know what you thought of this practice. So please leave me a message in the comments below. And of course, please remember to like and subscribe. And if you haven't already, head over to happyyoga.wales. You'll find a longer version of this practice, as well as loads of other yoga practices, meditations, all different styles of yoga over there for you to enjoy. And I look forward to seeing you again on the mat very soon.